This game doesn't allow live streaming. Oh no. Anyway. Right. I won't wait. Oh my god, I've just gone deaf. There we go. Turn my earphones down. Do I not have any game sound? Hang on. I need to test this on the stream. There we go. I got sound again, it's fine. Okay, that's turned down. That's turned off. Right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We are here at Imola for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix here in SRL. Round number 5, a third of the way through this SRL season of season 3, the second season on F1 2021, and believe it our last season on the game, at least, maybe our last overall, but so far it's shaped up to be a very interesting season indeed. We've had 4 different winners in 4 races. We had Reese round 1, Clar round 2, Brando round 3, and Despair round 4. Is anyone else going to be adding to that tally, or are we going to have our first repeat winner? So, as Apollo drives around the track, as he usually does, first out on track, we'll have the car just drive around like this, and I'll do my usual. We'll have a bit of a history lesson, I suppose. History lessons with Bonge. Okay, so the Imola circuit then, 18 corners, a length of a tiny bit over 3 miles, or 4.9 kilometres, if you're like me and you like seeing the bigger number, makes you feel faster. 1 DRS zone in between turn 1 and 18 at start-finish straight, probably going to be the hottest action zone of the race. Last season's pole time belongs to LET Joe, 1:14.658. Providing it's dry, I could probably see that being beaten tonight. So Imola as well, reintroduced to the calendar through the weird season all throughout COVID, and has been a permanent fixture ever since. We've had it last season, for this season as well, although 16.3, first lap on the board around this Imola circuit. We have quite the traffic jam here, so we'll have to see how this develops. Squire backs out from the back of Paper Stream, and I believe that's Eclipse and Paper Stream arguing over the same bit of track. Havoc goes P1, 1:16.1. Squires let an AlphaTauri go through, being Despair. The other one of Brando goes P3, 1:17.9. 5 Crown up to the line, 17.3 for the Aston Martin. I think I've got most on my little sheet here. 78,000 people is the capacity of this circuit. That's one little thing I've missed. Which is a lot more than last week, which at Baku, which I believe is like 18,000. And then I guess the memorable races around this. I guess we'll start with the pleasant ones. 2005, that infamous battle between Fernando Alonso and Michael Schumacher, finishing under a second apart by the end of the race, as Michael pushed Fernando all the way to the checkered flag. It was absolutely lovely to watch back on a battle like that, especially between those two drivers back in Fernando's prime and Michael's end of his dominance, I suppose, as Fernando came along and was the new kid on the block, basically, or the new big kid on the block. 2021 as well was a pretty chaotic race here in real life. We had the wet to dry. We had a lot of crashes. You had George Russell and Valtteri Bottas at turn 1. You had Mick Schumacher spin it, warming up his tyres, going along where Paper Stream is now. Hamilton also going off at the hairpin, where one of the Alfa Romeos just went through. It was Daleks. And then the most, I guess, the most infamous race around this circuit, but for all the wrong reasons, that horrendous weekend of 1994, where we lost Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger. And then also Rubens Barrichello had a huge crash. But now that's why we have this this first little sequence of corners that Lucas has just gone through. That used to be completely flat, but after 1994 it was changed to that chicane. That's why there's so many chicanes at this circuit now as well. It used to look a lot different to this, as is the case with most circuits. They definitely look a lot different from when they were first conceptualized. So I guess the last thing then, well, one of these doesn't matter. This is unserved penalties going into this race weekend from the stewards, the people that have been naughty boys. Clar with 10 seconds, that's the one that doesn't matter as he is not here. Hunt with 5 seconds, Daleks with 18, and Paper Stream with 5. And I think now we are pretty much all caught up on the usual Q1 nonsense, we call it. Actually, you know what? I've got one more thing. Here we go. One more little thing. The most corny line that we've all heard in career mode around this circuit. David Croft saying, "This track is taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today." This is... I'm trying to remember now off memory because I should have written this down. Brazil's anti-clockwise. Saudi Arabia is anti-clockwise. Because I'm just trying to think, basically, it's any track where turn 1 is a left-hander. It's anti-clockwise. Abu Dhabi. Is Kota anti-clockwise? So maybe there's a lot more than I thought. I've got a few more in chat. Canada, no, Canada has more rights than left. So, although yes, it's turn 1 is a left-hander, it immediately comes back right and basically carries on coming back round. Baku as well, yeah, I think Baku, the first 2 corners are, well, the first 3 corners actually are all left-handers. So maybe there was a lot more than I was thinking. I was only thinking it's like either going to be 3 or 4. But turns out there's about 20 billion now, so fair enough. I'll tell you, well, the most recent that's going to be added, actually, Miami isn't. Not that that's exactly relevant to this this session, being in Imola on F1 2021, but for when we get there, it's a clockwise circuit. Singapore, yeah, I think Singapore is as well. Because it's also weird depending on how like the track map actually is. Because like it's definitely easy looking at that full track map bottom right now for Imola. That's really easy to see that that's anti-clockwise. think Taz was going to message you, by the way, on Discord. I usually mute my phone in race weekends. The patch notes fixed the issue. Where players join during qualifying. Well, I guess we could test it then. But if this blows it up, it's not exactly going to be ideal, is it? So, all right, hang on then. Apollo, as you're in the pit, so I don't have to pause the game, can you invite Taz? We've left lobby open for him. Well, that's a beautiful call, isn't it? We're going to have many randomers join. Absolutely biblical scenes, Chef. Right, back to the qualifying then. I don't know how long's left because we've got a yellow flag. There we go, 5 minutes, just about saw that. Right, so fastest so far is Squire, 15.1. Despair 15.3, Reese 15.4, Brando 15.5, Greg Stars 15.6. So it's half a second to the top 5. It's quite a gap. Havoc 5/10 off Greg Stars on a 16.1, Apollo on a 16.3, 5 Crown 16.8. He thinks he's happy with that lap time. Paperstream 17.0, Lucasade on his supposedly one-off return, but currently sitting P10 on a 17.0. Bradford P11 at the moment, as Onic is in L lobby. Bradford, I think coming to the end of a lap here, is the McLaren. The line for him now. 17.1, stays P11 but improves on his time nonetheless. Daleks is P12. Oh, Reese has crashed out of the variant of Villeneuve just before the Toza hairpin. So that's him out of qualifying. That's, well, at the moment, that just means RSF1 Hunt and Phoenix both need to set lap times. And Tazonic now that he's here. So only those three will need to set lap times, and then that'll, well, I would say everyone's safe, but it's not, because we have 18. So Reese plus maybe 2 others will be eliminated, so P15 is that cut-off, well, was the cut-off point for Q1, but now that Reese is out, it's technically P14. So it's just going to see if Hunt, Tazonic, and Phoenix can all, well, all they need to do is set a decent lap time. We still will be losing at least 2 other people, aside from Reese, as Phoenix goes wide and invalidates. Going to complete the lap. I think there would be this and next invalid though. As it's at the last corner, it is, because that track map has stayed red. He's got enough time to maybe switch off his ERS and go again. But Hunt rounding the last corner now. McLaren's sole point scorer this season, hoping that he can get maybe some more. Puts his McLaren in P5, 16.0, which is higher than the real-life McLarens have been this season. Against SRL, I think it's on a lap. Phoenix is still invalid. Eclipse is starting a lap now, so we'll do a full lap with Eclipse. Going into turn 1, Variante Tamburello. You want to really ride those curbs. Not that much that it spits your car into a gravel trap, but otherwise decent. Then into Variante Villeneuve. This is where Reese had his moment that took him out of qualifying. Now into the Tosa hairpin. Pretty good through there. Hang on, I need my trap map now. Now this is turn number technically 9. It's Piratella. Very shallow line from Eclipse there. Now into Aqua Minerale. Bit all over the place. It's gone wide as well. Now into the... oh no, this is the Variante Alta, so it's Variante Tamburello is the first. I should have had this up to begin with. This is the most botched track guide I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And then, well, 15 and 16 is Ravazza, a little bit wide through the last corner from Eclipse, but there should be enough to improve on his time. He does, 6 tenths, but it's not enough to improve his position. As we have Charles Leclerc now out on track. The number 16, the Monegasque driver, yet to finish his home race. We will be visiting that later in the season. Hopefully he'll be able to there. 15-0 from Brando. What a lap from the AlphaTauri. But currently focusing then on Charles Leclerc. Let's try again. Let's do a full track guide, but this time I've actually got the track map up. So, rounding the Ravazza, last corner, up to the line to start the lap. This is Variante Bassa, is the name of this straight, into turn 1, Variante Tamburello, which is, well, 2, 3, 4 according to this track map. Does that very nicely indeed, takes as much curb as you really need to. Now into Variante Villeneuve, turn 5 and 6. A little bit cautious, but doesn't need to push outright now through the Tosa hairpin of 7. Then this little kink is apparently classified as turn 8. Into here, turn 9, Piratella, very easy to run wide and invalidate, which Tazonic does. Which Charles Leclerc does. And he has backed out of that. So Charles Leclerc has been eliminated in Q1, along with Eclipse and Phoenix and Reese. But Brando topping the timing sheets here with a 15-0. What a lap from him. Allied Squire in the other Red Bull P2. Well, in the Red Bull P2. The other AlphaTauri of Despair, P3. And then the other Red Bull P4. So you have AlphaTauri, Red Bull in the top 4, as has usually been the case. Pretty much this entire season so far. RSF on Hunt, P5 in the McLaren, Havoc 6th. Apollo in 7th for Williams, 5 Crown in the Aston Martin 8th, Paperstream 9th for Haas, and the other Williams of Lucasade rounding out the top 10. Bradford just missing out, but this is not the session that matters. In the second of the McLarens, Daleks, the first of the Alfa Romeos, 12th, the Haas of Gangster Alp 13, 14th for the Mercedes of Richard, that's pretty realistic. And then out of qualifying, you have Reese, Charles Leclerc, Eclipse, and Phoenix. I had to double check then because the screen went black. But yeah, that is qualifying 1 done then. I've been added in chat again. So Q2 begins now. SRL Apollo does his usual ritual of being the first on track. Well, while he's on an outlap, let's have a quick catch up with Chatto, because I have had it closed while I've been looking at the track map. Incredible scene, says Reese. Like Baku and Singapore, let's see if I can pan through a podium. It's definitely possible, especially a track like this. It's really easy to make mistakes. And it's also very easy to get floor damage, especially at Variante Alta. Just hopping over the second curb is so easy just to scrape the underside and blow up the car. And then 5 says, what's the strat? You'd know what the strat is if you'd done practice. It's Apollo. Oh, that looks all too familiar. Let's not. That's Apollo demonstrating he's a much better driver than me, because he actually saved that spin. I didn't. Big sad. But here we go then. Apollo will do another off-board lap with the main boss man himself, the league owner, coming down Variante Bassa into turn 1, 2 and 3, or 2, 3, 4 as it's called on our track map. Does that very nicely indeed. Keeps it nice, neat and tidy. Not making the full use of the curbs, but no exact need to. Variante Villeneuve done very nicely indeed. Now into the toes of hairpin, nice and easy on the power. And he's got through that very nicely indeed. Now through to Ravats. No. I need to keep the track map up. Piratelli, blithering idiot. Right, hang on. Let's catch this up from back here. Variante Alta for a little bit squirrely on exit. He's got away with it pretty nicely. Might have lost him a tenth or so. Now into Ravazza. Last two corners, both sharing the same name. Now up to the line. Where's this lap going to put him? 18.6. Not bad, not great. Paper Stream 17.6. Who's next? It's going to be Lucasade. No, he's invalidated, so it's going to be Havoc. Mercedes up to the line. Provisional P1 for Havoc, 15.9. Who's next to come to an end to their lap? RSF on Hunt has invalidated. Allied Squire through Aqua Minerale. The end of the second sector, now starting the last on the medium tyres. An interesting strat to go for mediums. Coming down to the two Ravazzas for the Red Bull. Hard on the anchors, chuck it in, maximise the runoff of these last two corners. Does that pretty nicely. Up to the line for the Red Bull. P2, 16.1, but that's on the medium tyres. Who's next to cross the line? I'll have to look at the map to see. Brando, I believe. Aftari goes P2. 16.1, very close to the Red Bull of Squire. Lucasade 17.6. Mediums as well. RSF on Hunt, invalid again. And Bradford very deep into the first couple of corners. Aftari gets well out of the way, which was Brando. 5 Crown, I believe, will be the next driver to complete a lap time. So right on board with the Aston Martin, very tentative through Aqua Minerale. Now into Variante Alta, pretty nice over the first curve, keeps it nice and straight for the exit. Now down to the two Ravazzas. Maximises the first bit of runoff. Is he going to maximise the second bit? A little bit of a wiggle as he gets onto the curb, up to the line. 17.2. Decent lap time. Bradford has done a Yuki Tsunoda and is out on the exit of Variante Alta. Oh, come on to Greg Stars. Yeah, there you go. He's literally done a Yuki Tsunoda. I think Despair's invalidated, so that's why he's still down in P9 without a lap time. But he is on a lap now, so last week's race winner. He's been hyping up him and his teammate all week to get another 1-2. But will it just be the usual hype, or is he going to put his money where his mouth is as he puts his throttle down a little bit too much there? Tiny bit wide through Piratella, now into Aqua Minerale. Takes the curb, that's going to push him wide, and that's upset the car a very, very big deal. Oh, Greg Stars is in the wall. Very lucky to get away with no damage, or at least all four wheels still on his wagon. But just a little bit of end plate damage and cooked tyres, I think, for Greg Stars. Maybe also a change of underwear. But, 5 has charged up his battery. He's going to go again. He's the only car out on track that's on a lap, so might as well stay on board with the Aston. Into turn 1. Very tentative indeed, but through the rest of the chicane, pretty nice. Down to Variante Villeneuve. Chucks it into the first part, scrubs off a little bit too much in the second, but he's still a 10th up. Through the Tosa hairpin, very nice and smooth on exit there. Now into the lovely turn 9. Takes about as much runoff as you need, pretty much perfect through there. Aqua Minerale now. Really need commitment here to gain lap time. Looks pretty nice and neat. Little bit of a wiggle on exit as the car shifts over the curbs. 3 tenths up though. Now through Variante Alta, keeps the car on track. Very nice and tidy from 5 there. Now down into Ravazza. Pretty nice through the first part. Now through the second part, maximises the exit up to the line again for the Aston. 16.8. That's still P4. He's taken a lot of life out of those tyres though, wouldn't exactly recommend it. RSF on Hunt through Aqua Minerale now for the McLaren. The one sole McLaren left in this qualifying session. 50.9 going into the last sector through the Variante Alta. A little bit squirrely on exit. Now through Ravazza's last 2 corners. Nice and neat and tidy from RSF on Hunt. Line now P4 for the McLaren. Richard will also be getting a lap on the board here. Enough to put in P9, 19.3 ahead of Gangster Al, so a very respectable lap time. Despair trying to go back out on the mediums, although they're going to be a bit worse for wear now. So let's have a look and see then what the AlphaTauri can muster up. As the Williams of Apollo gets well out of the way there, out of the pits. Despair now through Variante Villeneuve. Very nice and committed through that. Very nice first sector indeed. Now through the toes of hairpin. Careful on the power. Has done that. It's going to come up to RSF on Hunt, who has stopped well out of the way. Now down to Acqua Minerale. Probably my favourite corners on the calendar. Absolutely beautiful when you get it right. Despair has done that so far. Now through Variante Alta. Very nicely done indeed. You can see how low the car is to the ground. The skid plate there, pretty much on the ground. Especially with the camera angle coming down to Ravazza. Keeps it valid, keeps it just about within track limits through the last couple of corners now. P1, 59 on the medium tyres. But took a few laps to get there. Is that going to affect him in the race? Greg Stars now through the last, or into the last sector. Only a couple of corners left for the Red Bull. Havoc retires in the pits. He believes he's done enough. I'll definitely say so. 15.9. Pretty good lap. Only one of three people now in the 15s as Greg Stars goes P2, 15.8. 5 Crown is retired. I think he's in the danger zone because he has a lot of people behind him. Apollo and Lucasade I'd imagine could improve, as Apollo is 1.7 seconds up. So, let's see if 5 has made the right choice in retiring here, with about 4 minutes left, about 3 minutes left I believe, once this yellow flag goes away. Apollo then up to the line, P6, 16.1, that's put him in P6, pushing 5 down to P8. Lucasade a 10th down on his fastest through the first sector. Oh, it's validated through Acqua Minerale. He has time to go again. If he turns off the battery and recharges, cools down his tyres, he could go again. Rigid as that fuel. Dalek's still in the pits. So he's cutting it very fine if he wants to come out on track and set a lap time, unless he just wants to start P14. Paper Stream has retired in the pits. He believes he can't do any more. At the moment he's through, but not by much. Lucasade starting another lap. Don't know if anyone else is on one. Apollo isn't. Brando's on an out lap. Lucasade has backed off here. Might have made a mistake through the first couple of corners then, so that could be qualifying pretty much over for the Williams. Although he is currently safe, he is P10. So he'd have to have Daleks come out on track now, set a lap. Richard is currently sitting P11, Gangster out P12. There isn't enough time, so Daleks is starting P14. That is pretty much qualifying over then. Brando is on a lap, so running board with the AlphaTauri. 10th down on his first sector. Make it all up in the middle. And the last. Pretty much perfect through there, now down into Acqua Minerale. Also pretty much perfect. So nice seeing a car hooked up through there. 2 and a bit tenths up. That's going to be enough for P2 at the moment. It's all in this last sector. Down into the Ravazzas now for the AlphaTauri. Chucks the car in. Car sticks very nicely indeed. Now up to the line. Where is this going to put Brando? P2, 15.6. 2 cents off his teammate. AlphaTauri 1-2. Greg Stars P3, Havoc P4, Squire P5, Apollo P6, RSF1 Hunt P7, 5 P8. P9 goes to Paperstream, and Lucasade rounds out the top 10. Out of qualifying then, you have Richard PGR in the Mercedes, Gangster Out in the Haas, Bradford in the McLaren, and Daleks in the Alfa Romeo. Just waiting now for Lucasade to come back into the pits. So there we go then. Qualifying 2. It's now done. And it's shaping up to be a very interesting Q3. You have your usual suspects in and around. Paperstream in Q3, very impressive from him. And also Lucasade. So Lucasade on the mediums as well, getting through, so well done to those two. Then top 8 is pretty much usual suspects. So pole position then. Don't know, it's going to be pretty tough because a lot of these guys were very close on the softs. But I was wondering if we're going to see that 14 barrier broken. Let's have a look then. Get ready to ride on board with Apollo. You see the Williams mechanics shuffling around. No, it's not Apollo first out, it's Brando. Brando takes the honours then of the first lap in this qualifying session. And the camera wants to flicker, there we go. So then AlphaTauri, pretty much the strongest team, well the strongest momentum for a team so far. 1-2 last race out for these two, the first 1-2 of the season. They had a double DNF in Australia, and then where they finished in that. Hang on, let's have a quick look at the results and I'll be able to find out where they finished at Japan. Okay, so Brando finished 4th, Despair finished 10th, and then Singapore, Brando won, Despair got 6th and fastest lap. AlphaTauri leading the constructors by 11 points over Alfa Romeo. Reese, the only driver so far actually to score for Alfa. But speaking of Alfa, although it's not the Romeo, it's the Tauri. Brando on his qualifying lap now into the Variante Villeneuve. A little bit conservative, tiny bit wide. Now into the Tota hairpin. Nice on the power though. So one of the Williams has gone for a spin. In the first sector there. Now down into Aqua Minerale. Brando. Pretty nice and neat. 50.2 first 2 sectors. His teammate just behind him on the road. Well, the Red Bulls go for a spin. Out of turn 4. Brando rounding the last corner now then. Up to the line it is a 15.2 is the first lap on the board. The spare is invalidated. 5 crown will be next. Just about keeps that valid. 16.1 for the Aston Martin will be next. It'll be Havoc. It won't be Havoc, it's invalidated, so it'll be Lucasade. Apollo's gone P2 with a 16.0. 8 for Lucasade, so definitely Lucasade that had a spin. What about Greg Stars? 15.0, P1 for the Red Bull. Paper Stream rounding the last corner now. There's a Williams off at turn 1 again. P5, 17.3 for Paper Stream. Large Squad doesn't have a front wing. We'll ride on board then with RSF1 Hunt finishing his lap in the McLaren. Up to the line now. P5, 16.9 for Hunt. Spare pits as he has invalidated his first run. Havoc on his second run. His 5 is facing the wrong way at the Variante Alta. Rounding the last 2 corners now for Havoc in the Mercedes. Nice and neat round the last corner up to the line. Might run out of deployment just, but it's a 16.0, puts him just behind Apollo. 5 goes for another spin at the last corner. Those tyres well and truly cooked. At this point, Lucasade is well and truly backed out as well. He might be going for another lap now though. No, he comes into the pits. Paper Stream will also pit. I imagine everyone's on their cooldown laps now. So the first wave of all the qualifying laps done then, and it is Greg Stars currently on provisional pole with a 15.0. Brando in P2 with a 15.2, and it's a 16.0 for Apollo. Also a 16.0 for Havoc, 16.1 for 5, 16.9 for Hunt, 17.3 for Paper Stream, 33.8. Not a representative time from Lucasade as he did have a bit of a spin. And then it's Despair and Squire, the 2 drivers left to set lap times in this qualifying session, and it will be Despair that will be the first to have a go. Or to have a go of these 2 anyway. Squire also out on track now as well with the free track. 5 minutes left to go. So then Despair has a bit of pace, we saw, as he got a very, very good lap in on the mediums in Q2, so it's just if he can replicate that but go a bit faster as he'll be on the softs, he could definitely be on for a pole here. But rounding the last corner now then for the AlphaTauri, crossing the line and starting his lap now, running on board, or running with the broadcast cameras. The safety car in the background, probably going to be seeing that a fair few times, but through the first few corners here, pretty neat and tidy. Now into the Variante Villeneuve, chucks the car in, accelerates nicely on exit 24.2, first sector, through the toes a hairpin, nice and neat. Car doesn't complain too much on the torque delivery. Now through this corner here, runs about as wide as you want to go. Now through Aquamirale. Oh, that's on the curb and round. And that's a hit of the wall that could be rear wing damage. He'll definitely be hoping it isn't, because then he could be able to have another go, but I wouldn't be too convinced, as we do have simulation damage with us this season. Squire through Aqua Minerale doesn't make the same mistake as Despair. 50.2 now into Variante Alta as 5 has gone off at turn 1, or the first chicane. Now into Ravazza for Allied Squire, the Red Bull, rounding the last corner now. Pretty neat and tidy, up to the line now. It's a 15.4, not good enough for pole position just yet. Might have time to go for a cooldown and go again. Lucasade. Lucasade will be the next driver to set a lap time. And then I believe it will be RSF on Hunt. Bit wayward through... I don't know what went on with the camera there, but a bit wayward through the Variante Alta for the Williams. Rounding the last couple of corners now, though. Let's see where this lap is going to get Lucasade. Be his first representative time of the session. 16.8, good enough for P7, just ahead of RSF on Hunt, who is on a lap himself, 1/10 up, so he could be taking that position immediately back for the McLaren driver. 4 and a bit tenths up, that's definitely going to be good enough to get back ahead of Lucasade if he can find any more time. Could also be challenging 5 for P6. 5 has retired at the last corner. How have you gone that far off? Last corner, but fair enough. RSF on Hunt, rounding now P7. As Paperstream retires in the pits, he believes he's done enough. Brando is starting a lap. Squire isn't on a lap as he is quite far down. Apollo swapping places with his teammate. Havoc, I think, just finished a lap, but 16.0 stays P5. Brando through the first few corners here. He's been saying he doesn't have a lot of pace here, but definitely remains to be seen. 3/10 up. So that's a very fine first sector for the AlphaTauri. Now into turn 9, keeps it very nice and valid. Through down into Aqua Minerale. This is where you can gain so much time on your lap if you absolutely nail it. Very aggressive through the curbs. Very nicely done for Brando there. 4/10 up now. This is going to be a pole position if he keeps this lap together. A little bit wayward through Variante Alta. Now through the last couple of corners for Brando. Is this going to be a 14? Is this going to be enough for pole position? I think it is. Up to the line for the AlphaTauri now. 14.8, that is provisional pole for the AlphaTauri of Brando. Squire has retired in the pits. He will not be going any higher than P3. Despair is purple. Apollo, no, Lucasade gets out of the way of Apollo. Apollo cuts Variante Alta, and that is his qualifying over. Both Williams are done in qualifying here then. Greg Stars a tiny little smidge up on his time. What about Despair? Despair 49.7 through the first 2 sectors. That could be very close or him on for pole. Very, very fast first 2 sectors for the AlphaTauri. Rounding the last corner now. Is this lap enough for Despair? It is by 0.3 of a second so far. Greg Stars is half a second down. He's made a mistake. And Havoc has invalidated. So that is qualifying over. Despair 14.5 takes pole position. Brando P2 with a 14.8. Greg Stars P3 with a 15.0. Allied Squire in the other Red Bull 15.4 gets in P4. So it's AlphaTauri, AlphaTauri, Red Bull, Red Bull. Havoc P5 in the Mercedes. Apollo P6 in the Williams. Very good from him. 5 Crown P7 alongside RSF1 Hunt in the McLaren in P8. Lucasade and Paperstream share row number 5 in P9 and 10. There's a bot in my There's a bot in my chat. Get him out. There we go. Been absolutely disintegrated. There we have it. 0.3 of a second clear. Is to spare. 14.5. Only 2 people in the 14s are the 2 Alpha Tauris. But it could be a very, very big split in tyre strategy. I believe Despair is on the mediums. 5 is on the mediums. Lucasade's on the mediums. I'll have to double check once we actually get onto the formation lap. Who is this? Who is this man? And did they get in time? No, they didn't. It's fine. And before they did, and it just blows up the lobby. Right, so we have a 4-minute wait while all the drivers sort out their strategies, do whatever they need to do, or any pre-race rituals they have. Whether that be going to the loo, going to have a cigarette, having a little bite to eat. See, I used to have a sweet... When I was racing, I used to have a sweet pot. This was my, like, pre-race ritual. I had a sweet pot. They were all, like, random, like, bonbons. And if I thought it was going to be a good race, I'd have one, like, flavour. I think I had 3 flavours. I think I had, like, strawberry, blueberry, and I think lemon. If I thought it was going to be a good race, I'd have a strawberry one. If I thought it was going to be a really bad race, I'd have a lemon one. And if I didn't know, I would just have a blueberry one. But yeah, there you go. For anyone in chat, that was my pre-race ritual. I cannot lie, I consumed a lot of lemon ones. I think this, what did I have last time I raced here? I think I had a blueberry one, because, yeah, I had a blueberry one, but it turns out I probably should have just eaten an entire packet of lemon ones after that race. I should have just gone to eat an actual lemon, to be honest, it was that painful. But, let's have a little catch up of Chatto. I'm praying for my Gasly. I'm praying to my Gasly shrine. Oh yes, I could definitely picture you with a Gasly shrine. You got like a replica of his helmet, like a race suit or something. Candlelight everywhere. Just bowing to it, hoping that it works. What do we think of soft to hard? Wrong. That's what I could say about the soft to hard strategy. Wrong. Five is now happy again. Understandable. And then Brando actually does have a replica helmet. It's incredibly... To be fair, I can't remember what... oh, there's a website. Diecast Legends, I think they're called. And you can get them from there, and they kind of range in price from like 150 to like 400 or something. And there's a fair few on there. Because I've got a couple on there that I really want. But I need like a shelf for them. But yeah, I've definitely got a few I'd like some replica helmets. I've got a few t-shirts here and there, but I definitely want some other little replicas. Just to add to the scenery, I suppose, add to the aesthetic of racing. Here we go then. About to get underway for the formation lap. So let's quickly have a look at the tyres. Okay, so Despair on the medium tyres, Brando and Greg Stars on the softs, Squire on the mediums, Havoc and Apollo on the softs, 5 Crown on the mediums, Hunt on the softs, Lucozade on the mediums, Paperstream and Richard on the softs, Gangster and Bradford on the mediums, Daleks and Reese soft, Eclipse mediums, Taz hards. Oh no, sorry, it's Charles Leclerc, but this time he's not wearing a helmet to save weight. And Phoenix mediums. Okay, so let's get a position change up, like I always do for the first couple of laps. It's probably the best one to use, to be fair. Well, I like using it anyway. Just because then it's then pretty easy to work out who gets a good start. Because you can just see like a huge jump of green or a huge drop of red. Then you kind of get a rough idea of people's starts. But formation lap about to come to a close now, all entering the last sector. Around this very historic track. 32 laps await us here in SRL. 18 have started. I wonder how many are going to finish. Hopefully a fair few, but Imola is a very chaotic race, usually at the best of times. But can't wait to see what happens here. 5 Crown has been disqualified, as well as Phoenix, so they probably had some kind of collision, which is a bit weird because 5 is in 7th and Phoenix is in 18th. This is a really bad camera angle. I'm expecting Brando to get pretty... Well, not expecting, but I think Brando's going to get a better start because he's on the clean side of the grid and he's not pointing over to the grass. There we go then, the lights are on now, 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go, and it is a better start from Brando, side by side for the AlphaTauris already. Bradford's had a really good start, Richard's had a horrendous start, he's already down into pretty much last. A lot of good starts from the midfield guys here. We've got a yellow flag already, that's one of the Hasses, I believe that's Gangster Row, yeah there's Gangster Row, a lot of debris flying in the background, but Spare still leads from Brando. Greg Stars P3, Havoc having a go here into P4. And Greg Star's having a go at Brando here as well. Apollo up into 5th, 5 up into 6th. Squire has had a horrendous start. The 2 McLarens up into the points already, as is Daleks. Lucozade down the inside of Daleks though, into the Toza hairpin. Not quite good enough to make a move though. Tazona coming to P13. as well on those hard tyres. He's definitely going to be one to watch later on in the race. Gangster Al without a front wing, I believe. And Reese as well with damage. Maybe he had some contact. But up at the front, Despair has a 1.3 second gap over the rest of the field so far. That's 5 gone for a spin, and Allied Squire is also out. It's yellow flags. Virtual safety car has been deployed. So 5 has got a puncher, I believe. Yes, he has. I think. He spins over the track. No, he's just got absolutely cooked tyres. Oh no, he does have a puncher, does he? I don't know, I can't tell. But 5 is not being easy on his throttle regardless, and I think ghosting's on. Because 5 is just ghosting. Hang on, while we're under VSC, I'm going to quickly check. No, it's off. Okay, that's just... I think it's just because, I don't know, maybe under VSC, so he's just ghosting for no reason. But, we have a fair few people in the pits. I believe Paperstream, Reese and Gangster Al all pit. Let's have a look. Yeah, there you go. Paperstream onto his trademark hards. But Greg Star's doing his best to keep level with these 2 AlphaTauris here. Still Sector 3 yellows as 5 Crown trundles back to the pits. 5-second penalty speeding in the pit lane. And I'm going to assume a retirement. Yes. I don't know. I know you're watching the stream, 5. I don't know why you retired, because last time you raced here and were that far behind, you got a boycott 2 safety cars. As Eclipse is out as well into the last corner, the last 2 corners. As that's Bradford. Oh no, that's Hunt and Apollo going into combat there. It's P5 at the moment. Apollo running in P5, his highest of the season, if he finishes like this, but both of the Aston Martins out in pretty much one fell swoop, one of them crashing, one of them giving up. But meanwhile, for a better point of view for a team weekend, the 2 AlphaTauris still remain P1 and 2, and also both of the McLarens are in the points. A little gaggle here, we have Lucozade and Phoenix going into battle. Lucozade holding on for now against the Alpine. Dalek's just up the road as well. Ooh, a little bit wayward for Lucozade there. Phoenix is going to take the opportunity out of the Aqua Minerale corner. What a move there from Phoenix up into P9. And that's Lucozade down into P10, but still currently in the points. Tazonic though right on the back of him. Richard's down on fuel, I've just noticed. Despair sets fastest lap of the race. Brando closely follows suit with the DRS. But it's surprisingly powerful at this circuit. The DRS can really do wonders for your race, as Daleks is being overtaken here by Lucozade and Phoenix. He keeps Lucozade behind him, but is passed by Phoenix. Just as is the power of the DRS. Charles Leclerc looking for a move. Not quite close enough though to Lucozade. Is the Ferrari driver. Hunt and Apollo. Also Greg Stars is right on the back of Brando here. And this is for P2 as well. Despair only 1 second up the road. Apollo, the first driver to pick up a time penalty. And he picks it up at Aqua Minerale. Just ran a fraction too wide, and that's 3 warnings. And a penalty for Apollo. But he has still doing well so far, even with that penalty. Hunt does have one himself, as Richard, I believe, has gone for a spin at Aqua Minerale. Greg Stars here. Is he close enough to make a move here? He's going to have a big toe. But Brando has DRS on his teammate, and I believe that's Lucozade round, is it? No, it's not Lucozade round. Where is it? Yes, it is Lucozade round. Tazonic sails past the Alfa Romeo as well. And RSF on Hunt gets past Apollo. Apollo comes back at him though, gets another penalty in the process. Bit cheeky there. Runs a little bit wide for good measure as well. Hunt looks down the inside at the hairpin, absolutely sends it on Apollo. Leaves him enough room though. Williams is going to come back at him here into turn 9 though, looks to the outside. Goes for the cutback though, down into Acqua Minerale. Hunt goes wide, and Apollo back up into P5. Apollo with 6 seconds now. He does have to pull a second on Hunt to finish ahead of him. As Lucasade and Richard both pit, with both of them having either damaged or completely destroyed their tyres. Looking back further at the front though, Greg Starr's on the back of Brando, hunting down the AlphaTauri driver. Spare going defensive, try and break that slipstream pretty early, but I don't think his teammate's going to be anywhere near close enough here to capitalise. However, is Greg Starr's close enough to go for a move on Brando into turn 1? Has a little look, doesn't quite commit to it though. RSF on Hunt and Apollo going back at it. And the McLaren is through on the Williams. Goes a little bit wide though as Phoenix gets past Bradford. And Richard goes off track. Very far off track indeed. Getting well out of the way of everyone. He gets a 10-second penalty. That's very interesting indeed, as Apollo got on the gravel, and that's going to lose him the position to Bradford. He made a huge mistake, now down into P8. He was having a pretty good race up until then. But up at the front, Despair might have made a little bit of a mistake here as well, because Brando right on the back of his teammate now. Bradford picks up a penalty. So we've got a fair few penalties now. Well, you have 2, Bradford with 1. Richard has a 10-second. For not really doing anything wrong, just the game being the game. Charles Leclerc looking for a move on Apollo. Not quite close enough though into the last couple of corners. Or maybe he is. I think Apollo waves him on through at the second to last corner. And that is Charles Leclerc up into P8 now. Apollo pulls into the pits. Gets off those tyres. It's 2 yellows. That is one of the Alfa Romeos. I believe that's Reese. It is Reese indeed. He's gone for a spin at Acqua Minerale. It's Apollo onto the medium tyres, lap 7. That was a pretty good call. He can try and just extend these as long as he can and then go on to a set of softs near the end of the race. But AlphaTauri still retain their 1-2 after 7 laps. Despair pretty much in control of this race at this current moment in time, but he doesn't have the air gap that he had in Baku. He is definitely a lot further behind. Oh, he picks up a penalty. That's going to be huge for later in this race. So his advantage is currently nothing, as he will be going down into P3 as it currently stands. But his teammate right behind him. Phoenix gets past Hunt down into turn 1. Pretty easy DRS pass there for the Alpine. Up into P5 now is the reserve driver. The Haas gets well out of the way of the top 3. But Greg Starr's still on the back of Brando. These two very evenly matched by the looks of it, but Brando's lost DRS to his teammate. Greg Starr's is definitely close enough to try and move. That's a spin for one of the Mercedes. That is Richard out of Variante Villeneuve. Greg Stars is very, very close now. He will have the DRS. Is this going to be a move for P2 or the effective lead of the race for the Red Bull? 5 tenths and closing. Gap's really coming down. Is it going to come down enough though? Maybe not. Brando defends to the inside. And keeps P2. Phoenix sets the fastest lap of the race. There's yellow flags in Sector 2 again. And in Sector 1 as well, that's the Haas getting out of the way of the front-running cars. You also have Richard falling a little bit further behind and a bit more further off the road. Might have damage. That's probably why there's constant yellow flags, but these softs look like they are pretty much spent. But Greg Stars is really able to follow basically all of this, like the middle and last sector, but the only point of this circuit you can really overtake is into turn 1. And I think he's just a bit down on top end speed compared to Brando. But Despair... Oh, Greg Stars pits. He goes for the undercut. So what tyres is this for the Red Bull? It's medium tyres going on. That will take him a fair way. Oh, it's a double stack from Mercedes. It's an absolute disaster for Havoc. He's going to have to wait a long time for his crew to service him. He's definitely lost a fair chunk of time there. He's now only just in front of RSF on Hunt, and he was a lot further up the road than that earlier. Daleks gets past Greg Stars there. The Red Bull P7 at this current moment in time. But Havoc's lost a huge chunking of time. Richard is out. And is that going to be a safety car? Yes, it could really affect Greg, because the race is now pretty much neutralised. So the top lot can pit and not really lose anything. So Greg Stars, Havoc as well, and Hunt have all pitted, which obviously they wouldn't have known there was a safety car, or they didn't anticipate a safety car coming out literally after the lap they pit. It's Sergio Perez all over again. Despair pits and Brando follows him in. Yeah, everyone's going to pit. I would imagine Charles Leclerc might not though. Ride on board with the Monegasque. No, he doesn't, and Brad also stays out. So I think Brad could take the lead of this race here then. Which he does. Yeah, there you go. Brad into the lead, Charles Leclerc runs P2, Despair P3. And he's on the hards, so he's going to try and go to the end of the race. Brando on the mediums, I think Brando's also going to try and go to the end. Greg Stars is 5th. So he hasn't really lost anything. So he's a bit lucky there. That he hasn't lost too much. It's also the same for Havoc and Hunt. They still get ahead of Daleks. I wonder if Apollo is going to get ahead of Daleks. Yes, he does. Up into P9 for the Williams. But Daleks rounds out the top 10 then. We've only lost 4 in 11, so that's pretty impressive stuff, especially a track like Imola. I was expecting a lot more accidents in this, but then again, there are still 22 laps left. Of this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. But so the safety car will probably, I'm going to guess, lap 13. So Brad feeling the pace for a little bit. He's going to use this to extend his medium stint. Oh no, he'll pit. Okay, so he will drop to the back of the queue, but he will be on fresh tyres. What tyres going on for the Mercedes? The McLaren, sorry. Soft tyres. So probably a double soft stint, I'm going to assume, for Bradford, which is a pretty good strategy to do. Paper stream pits, I'm going to guess for a set of mediums. Yep, the yellow walled tyres going on. Reese currently P13 on the hards, but this will bring him back into the race at least. Is he going to pit? No, he stays out. And then Gangster Al, or Gangster Al's in the queue. He's just ahead of Apollo on track, so theoretically, well, out of all these cars, he is basically 8th on the road. So anyone below him is definitely going to have to try and avoid him. As, well, there's no rules in the game, which is a bit annoying, where the game doesn't allow lap cars through. So he's kind of just stuck there, which is a bit annoying. Because he could have gone round this lap and then tried to catch up, and the safety car would have came in next lap, as it would have been in real life. But unfortunately, we don't have that feature in the game, which is a bit disappointing. But coming on now then, lap 13 of 32, we have 20 laps left of this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, round number 5 of 15, SRL Season 3. If you have missed the action, don't worry, you can press the red button on your Sky Glass and Sky Q remote if you are a customer of those services, and you'll be able to watch the action alongside the live action, or the highlights alongside the actual action of the previous 12 laps. If you're curious as to why 4 people are out or why we're under a safety car, just press the big red button on your remote now and you'll be able to find out. There you go, Apollo, for when you watch the stream back. It's been 2 weekends that I've not done it. But I've done it now, so are you happy? Because I did it race 1, I think. I think I did it in both race 1s, actually, because we had the one that was called off and the one that was actually, like, normal. But there you go. I didn't do it for the last 2, so I've got a bit of catching up to do, I suppose. Safety car then in this lap. So Taz will be, Charles Leclerc will be backing up the pack and dictating the pace. He will be choosing when to go once the safety car is in. So it's basically once the safety car goes into the pit lane, it will go back to almost green flag, and then they've just got past the safety car line. And Taz has gone. Despairs pretty much stayed with him though. Apollo picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I don't know why he might have got damage. And let's try to ride on board if I can see a front wing. As Phoenix gets past, yeah, that's a front wing, so it's damage for Apollo. Havoc looking to get past Greg Stars here, not quite close enough though. Battling for P5 as Paperstream is out. I'm not exactly sure what's happened there, but Paperstream is out. Did he have contact with his teammate or something? Because I think his teammate doesn't have a bit of front wing. No? Well, his teammate has grass on his tyres. I don't know if that's correlated. Bradford down the inside of turn 9 on Lucasade. What a move. Just about caught the back end of that. put up into P9 for the McLaren driver. He does have a penalty though. But then again, the 2 people ahead of him also do have penalties as well. Daleks has 18 seconds. And Adam, or RSF on Hunt, has 5. But so far up at the front, Despair takes the lead from Charles Leclerc. Brando sizing up the Monegasque. And reclaiming the AlphaTauri 1-2. Wastes no time at all in doing so. And back up into second place. Phoenix as well goes down the inside, but barges the Ferrari off the road there. Pretty much leaves him no room whatsoever. I think that's also Dalek's has gone for a bit of a spin or something. He's gone for an off track as he lost a lot of time and a few positions. Bradford now up into P7. 2 McLaren 6th and 7th at the moment. But I'm not exactly sure. I don't exactly know what happened to Paperstream, and then I don't know exactly. I kind of caught a rough idea of what happened to Leclerc there. He was kind of just barged off by Phoenix. But Phoenix now on the back of Brando. He is on the softs. If I was Brando, I'd probably kind of let him go. Greg Stars picks up a penalty. Who was running P3 for the vast majority of this race, now has a time penalty. That could definitely affect him later on in the race, but we're approaching half race distance now. Despair re-leads the race, 2.1 seconds clear of his teammate after getting a really good safety car restart. Sets fastest lap of the race, 17.8 on those hard tyres. He will be going to the end on those unless there's another safety car, I'd imagine. The DRS re-enabled for these drivers. None of them will have them until the next lap though, as there's only one detection point. As Daleks pits, probably for a new front wing, elevating Reese, the championship leader, back up into the points. So he'll be getting 1 point at the moment. Not exactly an ideal weekend for our championship leader, but damage limitation at the moment. Although his 2 closest competitors are currently 1-2. Clark isn't here, so that's going to be one less person he'll have to worry about. Oh, that's damage as Phoenix has gone straight into the back of Brando there. He's got no front wing. Gets well out of the way of everyone though. I think he just drove straight into the back of the AlphaTauri. That might be damage for Brando as well, as is the sensitivity of these cars on simulation damage. And he picks up a penalty as well, running a fraction too wide at the Variante Alta. So it's probably going to be pitting, chuck on a set of mediums or hards and just try and go to the end of the race. Hope there's a safety car. Lucasade stuck behind him now. Tries to look for a move up the inside of the last corner. Almost loses the car. But Phoenix comes into the pit lane now for a new front wing and a change of tyres. Apollo P11 at the moment on his new tyres after getting front wing damage under that safety car. Brando's gone very wide indeed. I wonder if that's damage, some kind of damage for him, making his car a little bit more unstable. That could definitely be correlated to his collision with Phoenix. But he has lost a heaping of time to his teammate. Apollo up into the points though. RSF on Hunt picks up a time penalty. Greg Stars, although Greg Stars has a penalty as well, so Brando shouldn't be too worried about him. And he has 1 layers. Havoc as well. Havoc is currently running in P3, just to point out as well. The Mercedes doing very well so far. He doesn't have a lot of battery though, and this track is very hard to recharge battery. Greg Stars doesn't have a lot as well. Gangster L picks up a time penalty. We're now we're now exactly halfway through the race, 18 of 32. As Greg Stars looks for a move round the outside, Bradford as well is on the back of Havoc on those fresh soft tyres compared to the mediums. So the McLaren is definitely going to be faster at this stage. Both having pretty much no ERS. You can see the light at the back of the Mercedes derating means he's harvesting battery, as he is less than 10%. As Gangster Al is gone out of the first chicane, and there could be another safety car. Yes, it is. Halfway through the race, we have our second safety car. Actually, our third safety car, because we had VSC very early on. I wonder if anyone's going to take the most of this and pit then. Despair last minute does. Picks up a penalty because he comes back on track. Greg Star pits. Havoc pits as well. RSF1 Hunt pits. Charles Leclerc pits. Lucasade. Reese. I'd imagine Apollo and Phoenix won't. Daleks probably won't. But I have a feeling, I have a sneaky suspicion here, Despair is going to try and get that penalty appealed. Because he's gone into the pits, and then he's crossed the line last minute to go back out onto the track. And although the bollard has been absolutely murdered, there is usually a bollard there, and if you go past that bollard, you have to commit to the pit lane. And Despair hasn't done that. In real life, that's actually a 5-second time penalty. But I think in our rules there's nothing explicitly there, but as he's been penalised by the game for it, I guess we don't have to. But yeah, that's well and truly helped Brando. He doesn't have any penalties. So here's the net leader of this race. Bradford as well, a very impressive P3. But Greg Stars and Havoc and Hunt are all on fresh tyres, although Hunt with a 3-second time penalty on the road, as well as a 5-second off the road, he will be losing 8 seconds to his finishing time. As of now. Tazonic, or Charles Leclerc, as I've been calling him all race, because he's using number 16. P7, he's on the soft, so he'll be trying to go to the end of the race. It's definitely possible, because by the time the safety car comes in, it'll either be lap 21 or 22. So it's just making those softs last. Luke's on the hards, he's definitely going to the end, but maybe he doesn't have any mediums. I would have said go mediums and go to the end. But maybe Luke's doesn't have any left. As Reese could pick up a fair few positions here, as he doesn't have any penalties. A lot of people ahead of him do. Phoenix on softs as well. He'll be back into this race, but he does have a penalty himself. Back up the front, still, as it has been pretty much all race, it's still the AlphaTauri 1-2. But I must say, very impressed with Bradford here. He's gained 10 positions. He started 13th. He's currently on the podium. Granted, he has 6 seconds of penalty, so he probably won't be there for very long. And he definitely has to make another pit stop in this race. Here we go, safety car in this lap. I think it's if there's another safety car from here, everyone's going to pit for a set of softs, and it's just going to be a sprint race to the end. Which will be incredibly entertaining, to be fair. I'd definitely love to see it. But Despair dictating the pace then, ready to lead us away for this safety car restart for the final 12 laps of this race. And he has gone. Didn't look like the best starts for him though. Greg Starr's wasting no time trying to get past Bradford here. Looks to the outside going into off the McLaren, switches to the inside. Bradford covers him off very nicely. Tries the outside once again. Beautiful defending from the McLaren. Havoc as well closing in on the back of them. Daleks and Phoenix having a bit of a battle. That's contact between the two. Apollo is out as well. Not entirely sure what happened with him. But he's still pretty much in a line as it currently stands. Phoenix is retired as well. 2 retirements on that safety car restart then. That's not going to be another safety car. It's too close to the one just gone. But Despair still leads, although he does have that penalty and he's on worse tyres than his teammate. So at the moment, advantage Brando with 11 laps or 12 laps left. Those cars have both been cleared. Tazonic on the back of RSF1 Hunt here. As well as Craig Starr's trying to go for a move. We have a lovely little gaggle of cars here, all following Bradford. As Tazonic gets a really good run on the other McLaren of Hunt. Hunt's going to defend. Taz to the inside. Reese hits. I believe he might have had damage. It might have something to do with Apollo retiring. Hunt defends very nicely from Tazonic, although he gets a very good run out the first couple of corners. Hunt defends beautifully again. Is Tazonic going to go for a lunge here at the hairpin? No, he's not quite close enough. Again, Hunt covers him off. Gets a little bit wayward though on the exit of the hairpin. Is Taz going to go for a move here up into turn 9? He's not quite close enough. Oh, as Hunt gets a little bit squirrely, Taz has to take to the grass. So the Ferrari still staying in P7. Oh, the McLaren gets even more squirrely out of Aqua Minerale. Going to relinquish the position there to the Ferrari. Up into P6 for Tazonic. But, Greg Starr's still on the back of Bradford. Bradford's done an amazing job so far defending from these guys behind. DRS now enabled, but no one will have it until the next lap. Greg Starr's might not even need it here. Looks for a move on the McLaren as they emerge into the camera shot of turn 1. Looks to the outside, can't quite make it done though. Bradford defending very well. Havoc as well is getting involved here in the Mercedes. He's got a great run, but he's got no ERS. Rexos goes a little bit deep there out of the Variante Villeneuve. Havoc still P5. Taz right behind him now though in the Ferrari. They're all currently just stuck behind Bradford. He's doing an amazing job so far holding these guys off, but those softs are definitely going to be screaming. At this stage, 10 laps is just absolutely huge for a set of softs around this circuit. But Taz sizing up a move on Havoc again. Not close enough. The guys ahead literally have like no ERS. Despair sets the fastest lap of the race on those hards once again. Greg Starr's with DRS assistance here. I don't think Bradford's going to have an answer to this. Definitely tries to keep him behind though. But to be fair to Bradford, tries to brake later. The Red Bull just has the edge. Bradford goes for the switchback though. What a move round the outside of turn 2. That was beautiful. That corner cut wasn't, but that defensive driving from Bradford. Take a bow. Hey, Bradford 22. Oh, as Greg Starrs goes for a spin. And that's his front wing gone out of the Tosa hairpin. It's hugely disappointing for Greg Starrs. But that's given Brad a little bit of breathing room. What a move, though. Can't quite get... Havoc picks up a penalty. Gregstars went that little bit too deep into turn 2. He cut over the curbs and went to turn 1, sorry. Brad was like, thank you very much. Oh, he finished up a penalty. Taz behind him is definitely going to inherit this P3, but Bradford has put up an absolutely stellar defence for it so far. I don't know, I don't quite know what Bradford had for breakfast this morning, but he needs more of it. But the Ferrari goes to the inside here, or the outside, and gets the move pretty much slam dunk done. Bradford can't defend or cut back that one. This time just is the overspeed of the Ferrari. Both of them have no ERS. All three of these guys have no ERS. Brando has dropped out of the range of his teammate as well. So Brando will not, at the moment, be winning this race unless he can find a second. Reese gets past Gregstars as the Red Bull pits for a set of softs. You can at least try and get fastest lap. It'll still be getting a couple of points. Anyone that finishes will now. So Havoc on the back of Bradford here. Bradford gives him the big old squeeze. Havoc sends it down the inside of the chicane though. Brilliant respect from these two to not make contact through that section of corners. It's basically impossible. But these two have done it. Fair play to both of them. Havoc is going to have DRS here though. Bradford has a little bit more ERS though. It's already deploying his battery as Havoc. Is that DRS alone going to be enough of an advantage? Perhaps. And round the outside goes Havoc into turn 1. The Mercedes goes through. Bradford tries his cutback but spins. His tyres are pretty much gone. He'll still be P7. He can still definitely pit, get on a fresh set of tyres, and he'll still stay P7. But what a battle that was for P3. A lot of cards there initially. But Charles Leclerc is the victor of all that now. In his Ferrari. Now sitting in P3. But it's still remains, as it has done for pretty much the last 26 laps, an AlphaTauri 1-2. Lucas picks up a penalty. I believe, is that his first or is that his second? That's his first. But as it stands, Lucas will be finishing ahead of RSF1 Hunt as long as he sticks within 5 seconds of him. So RSF1 Hunt needs to get a bit of a wiggle on here if he wants to retain P5 and get some decent points for McLaren. Otherwise, Lucas will be scoring. As he is a reserve, it won't go to any team. But he will have a lovely little haul of points next to his name. Bradford pits. Probably for a set of softs. Take him to the end. But he's still going to get decent points as long as he keeps it on the island. And he could even pick up a fastest lap. I guess as everything's calmed down, let's have a quick catch up with Chato. Follow that. That's disappointing. We go again next week though. Yeah, man, that's all you got to think of. You got to think of it positively, not your usual antics of not being asked. You just shake it off. You move on to the next one. It's Portugal next. I think it's Portugal. Oh, as Reese goes for a spin and is T-boned by the Red Bull. Is that damage? I don't think so. I think he's just about got away with it. Daleks gets past his teammate. Reese rejoins. In P10. It's definitely been one to forget for our championship leader. Adam has slight damage to his side pod. I think I might have just about seen it. I can definitely see a little chunk taken out of the floor. But he's still doing pretty well regardless. He's still holding on at the moment to P5, but he's at least guaranteed a P6. Goes a little bit wide though. He's guaranteed P6 as long as he keeps it on the road. But he does have to get a wiggle on a little bit. Use his mediums compared to Lucasade's hards. Try and pull the 5-second gap. If he wants to keep P5. Oh, he has 6 seconds as well. Okay, so he'd have to pull a lot more then. Sector 3 yellows. That is, I think, someone getting out of the way. Oh, Reese goes for a spin. The last corner. Greg starts his pit as well for a new front wing. Reese keeps it on the road though. I thought he would have pit, maybe gone for another set of tyres, but definitely not one to write home about. As Greg Stars also now falls a lap down. Lucasade goes past him. Oh, Tizonic is on the back of Brando, I've just realised as well. So Taz going for a move here for P2. Brando covers him off nicely though into turn 9, but he's going to have a much better run. Into Aqua Minerale they go. Brando retains that P2. Covers off that outside line as well. Very sharply indeed, but these two, great respect for each other, but Tazonic gets through Brando, not putting up too much of a fight. But I think he's done that for a reason. He will now have the DRS along the start-finish straight. A little bit wayward though, those tyres are definitely worse for wear. He does have DRS, he doesn't have... Actually, they both don't have any ERS. Brando sails on past Tazonic. Back up into P2 for the AlphaTauri then. A little bit of tactical play then there. He lets him go out of the Variante Alta. And retakes P2 as Reese goes for another spin. He can rejoin. You can rejoin Reese, there's no cars coming. You're fine. There we go. But, the only battle really happening now then is between these two for P2. Spare is now well and truly up the road. But, Lucasade as well is currently on course to take that P5. Brando looks to defend. He won't be doing the little lift this time. He will be staying ahead of Tazonic. That will give the Ferrari DRS a little bit wide out of the last corner for the AlphaTauri of Brando. Along the straight they go. Very close to banging wheels. Brando loses P2 there to the Ferrari. So there's yellow flag, but I think that's just now that's an Alfa Romeo letting a McLaren go. But lap 31 or 32 then, about to come on to the last lap. Been a pretty good race this time out in Imola. A lot of good battling I've seen today. It's just very nice to see. Oh, Brando picks up a penalty. That's going to put pay to pretty much any chance of him getting P2, unless Taz picks up a penalty now. It's definitely possible. You can definitely pick one up on the last lap, but speaking of the last lap, Despair has now started it. Or sideways for Brando there. But Despair on 20 lap old hards. No ERS as well. Greg Stars gets the fastest lap of the race, so he'll be getting an extra point at least. Brando not close enough to Tazonic to do anything. This time round, I think he's run out of corners as well. Oh, Brando's out in the wall! Just caught the tail end of that. I think he's got onto the curb on the left. And that spat him out into the wall. That's brought everyone else up a position. Brando will still be P10. He's done 90% of the race. Or maybe even higher, because I think Reese is a lap down. But a double AlphaTauri podium has just gone out the window, and Havoc in the Mercedes is now on the podium on the last lap of the race. Spare rounding the last two corners now for the AlphaTauri, the first repeat winner of the season, and it's back-to-back for Despair across the line and wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc rounds the last corner now on those soft tyres. P2 for him. Havoc as well just gets P3 at the very death of it there. But a good podium finish for him. RSF on Hunt P4 on track. Lucasade gets P4 as well. Jumps him up as he finished within the 3-second difference, but RSF on Hunt would have lost the position, the penalty anyway. But P5 and 6 for the McLaren boys. It's a good weekend from them. Rounding the last corner is Bradford now. In his McLaren. Finally gets some points on the board. Both McLarens have now scored. Daleks is P... Okay, so Brando keeps P7 as everyone below him was a lap down. So Daleks P8 and he will stay there even with all his penalties. P9 and fastest lap goes to the Red Bull of Greg Stars, and our championship leader Reese P10. Just absolutely murdered Despair. He's going to finish in the pits as well. There you go. That's been the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. 10 finishes. And your first repeat winner, LR Despair. Driver of the day, Charles Leclerc. Thoroughly agreed, not going to lie. Absolutely scintillating from the Monegasque driver. So, there you go. It is back-to-back for LR Despair. And Tazonic P2 and Havoc P3 right at the end there after that unfortunate DNF from Brando. But as it's done 90% of the race, it's still P7 at least for the AlphaTauri, and it's still a lot more points than Alfa Romeo, so they still extend their championship margin. Right, let's get all these guys in then. Right, just wait for these guys to join now. I think this will be the first week that I haven't actually had to speak to Reese. It's actually quite sad. Oh, it actually is as well. Reese has had 4 consecutive podiums, and now I don't speak to him. This truly is the darkest timeline.
Very lucky for you.
Where's the other 2? Hopefully on the way. Havoc says, I'm going to have to do the interview on Discord call. We don't do it in Discord call, unfortunately. We do it in... You can just type something in chat if you want, Havoc, and I'll read it out. If you can't join the party for whatever reason. But I'll let you do that then. So I'll do who we do have then. So I've got to do the winner first. Really? Do I have to? No, moving on. Taz, well done, mate. No. Right. So your winner, your first repeat winner of the season, a lot of spare. Not quite the AlphaTauri 1-2 that you wanted.
Yeah, no, sad.
Brando decided to run out of downforce. But he was having a good battle with Taz anyway. But it would have been a double podium at least for you two. But still extend your championship margin at the top with the absolute disaster class that was the Alfa Romeo weekend. But it's all sunshines and glory for you, I suppose. Another pole position and another race win. Not quite fastest lap.
Yeah.
But still good weekend, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, back-to-back wins. I think, once it's gone to the tracks I like, I think, I've improved my results and my performances. I went with a one-stop, obviously, and for when the safety car came out, I was just, do I go in, do I not? Do I go in, do I not? And I slowed right down to see if loads of people would box. And Greg Stiles went in, but Brando stayed out, and so did Bradford. So I decided to stay out. Why not have a go of it? The hards were quite awful, to be fair, but and I just started pulling the gap on Brando again, and I didn't realise he had. I didn't realise he had damage, obviously. So, if he didn't have damage, it could have been a whole lot different. He could have beat me, and could have come second. And could have been another AlphaTauri 1-2, which is unfortunate. But yeah, closing my gap on Reese and extending AlphaTauri's lead at the top. So yeah, happy days.
Well, yeah, definitely AlphaTauri looking like the team to beat as of right now. The momentum you guys have been carrying, so well done for that. But yeah, congratulations for you and also Brando, even though his unfortunate end to the race is still both of you done a very good job for AlphaTauri this weekend. Moving on then to the man in P2, the man I've been calling Charles Leclerc all weekend because you've been driving around with number 16 and no helmet, which is very unsafe. So we'll be having strong words with you. Is Tazonic, the man that's joined in qualifying because why not? Doesn't need to set laps, just that good. Came away with a P2. Lovely little battle with Brando at the end there. Cheeky play from I think it was Brando where he had a bit of a bad run out of the chicane before the DRS detection and then just sailed back past on the straight. I found that pretty enjoyable to watch, but still a very good battle between the two of you. Obviously a lot of respect between the pair of you. But it came away with a lovely P2 finish for Ferrari, so congratulations. If you want to give us a bit of an overview.
Yeah, right away, I'm in shock. I absolutely hate Emilia. It's my worst track, but I don't know what it was. I sort of got into a bit of a groove there. I know Brando had damage, but I didn't know at the time. I thought I was actually quicker than him, which was stupid. Now that I'm thinking of it in hindsight, but no, he had damage, so it made sense to how I was catching up at a reasonable pace. But yeah, I sort of just kept out of trouble really. I started on the hards. I expected it. I expected a safety car, like pretty imminently, to be fair. So, but it happened a lot later on than I thought, and it kind of screwed me over a little bit. I think it happened around lap 11. That was sort of at a really poor time for me to pit on the hards. So I was like, okay, just stay out. Then I think I got pushed off at turn 1. I think it was by the Williams. I think he just cut into me on the braking zone, just pushed me off, which kind of lost me about 4 or 5 seconds, which wasn't ideal. But happily the safety car came out after that. Again, I think it was Richard that DNF'd, so I managed to sort of catch back up and put on the softs. Then yeah, it was sort of just siphoning my way through really, and I was in the zone for once at Imola. Imola's one of those tracks where I just can't keep it in a straight line, but I managed to do pretty darn well, and a nice little battle, fun little battle with Brando. I love battling Brando. Is great fun to battle for all the years we've raced together. And yeah, I'm guessing you call the little sneaky DRS shenanigans. So I didn't catch on the first time. The first time he I thought he had a bad roll out of the chicane, and then I realised, he's giving himself DRS, and then he sailed past. So I was like, okay, he's going to do the same next lap, isn't he? So he tried to do the same next lap. He slowed down, and I was like, nope, after you. And I sort of, we both sort of let off the throttle, and I think he realised I wasn't going to play ball, so he went for it, and unfortunately couldn't hold me back. But he did very well with his damage. It sucks to see that he DNF'd, because I'd have loved to have been on the podium with him, but it was a great and fair battle nonetheless. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here, really. Hold on to the spare as well.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, congratulations. Done very well indeed to get P2, especially if this is one of, if not your worst tracks, as you said. It's definitely one of those that's incredibly hard. So yeah, done very well regardless. The game gave you driver of the day. I do thoroughly agree with that as well. Basically last to second.
Well, I mean, we also proved that the update patch about joining qualifying has worked. It's fixed. So there you go.
Stuff.
So I can keep being late from now on. And
Codemasters did them right for once.
So I wouldn't make too much of a habit of being late, but yeah, at least we now know it doesn't affect it too much. But yeah, anyway, well, very well done from yourself for that P2 finish. So I haven't seen Havoc say anything in chat yet. I don't know if he's writing a Bible entry or if he's forgotten. I'll give him a couple of minutes just in case.
He's writing it out on paper first before he writes it on the.
Probably, yeah. He's getting
he wants it all correct.
Oh no, there we go. Just as I was about to say, here we go. He said something now, so I'll get his Mercedes to look at. Right, so he has said, thanks very much. I've been waiting for this for ages now, and it finally came. Congratulations to P2 and. He said P2 and 3. Did you mean P1 and 2? Because he finished P3. No, we'll give him the win. It's fine. No. I'm very disappointed for Brando. My second podium. Really happy with the result for Mercedes. I also add I did no setup and no practice. My guy got a podium without a setup. Let's just give him the championship now. Like,
He never
I don't want to
used
see
a
the rest of
podium.
this.
He never uses.
Absolute
Sorry, I'm
legend.
sorry. He never uses a setup apparently.
Yeah, no, he's got the championship right now. Sorry, we're not continuing. That has been the last race. Well done to Havoc. Absolute, thoroughly deserved champion.
Oh yes.
For having the massive testicular components to not use setups. But no, in all seriousness, very well done to Havoc there for a P3. You definitely got to be in them to win them, or pick up the benefits where others fall off the road. Quite literally, unfortunately for Brando, but yeah, definitely still deserved the podium nonetheless. Still did a very, very good race from yourself, so congratulations Havoc on that P3. Finally got a Mercedes back on the podium, so well done indeed. But I think then that is a wrap, so thank you everyone for watching once again. It's been a very good round 5. We'll be at Portugal next for the Portuguese GP, round 6 of 15. Might not be looking forward this time to hoping there's a different winner, because someone had to go and ruin it this week. Absolute sacrilege scenes. You will be disqualified for that, I hope you realise.
I'm P1.
There you go. But no, well, I definitely have to see what happens at Portugal. That's also another big race of attrition, much like Imola. But been another enjoyable weekend, so thank you everyone so much for watching. We will see you next time for Portugal.